The topic to be discussed in this video is IoT design issues. The topic to be discussed in this video is IoT design issues. Basic integration of the IoT things or devices to the internet will be challenging. The vision of IoT is to connect every object with the computing, communication, and sensing ability to the internet. Each IoT device having some capabilities. That means sensing capability, computing capability, and communication capability. The vision of IoT is to connect this type of devices with some capabilities and connected to the internet is the challenging task. First point here is a basic integration. Basic integration of the things or IoT devices to the internet will be challenging. The vision of IoT is to connect every object or IoT device, every object with computing. Computing means executing some instructions, performing the operations on the data. Computing, communication. Communication means send the data or receiving the data, and sensing. Sensing means sense the conditions, environmental conditions. Sensing ability to the internet. Okay. The vision of IoT is connect every object, every IoT device having some capabilities, sensing capability, communication capability, and computing capability. That such type of device are connected to that internet is a challenging task. Some factors are influence. These factors are some factors are influence connect IoT devices to the internet are connectivity, power sources, security, geographical factors, and cost of deployment and operation. These are the major factors. Third important point here is the major factors of influence. Influence are the connectivity, power sources, security, geographical factors, and cost of deployment and operation. Some constraints. Some IoT device constraints or design issues are also play an important role in order to connect such type of devices to the internet. Fourth point, important point here is the design constraints shall play an important role in designing infrastructure and infrastructure and protocol for IoT. These are the design issues faced by the IoT devices. IoT devices connected to internet. First one is a low memory. Low memory. Low memory. Consider two IoT devices, sensor nodes. Sensor nodes and RFID tags. RFID tags. These are the two objects are equipped with low memory. Few contents are stored in the memory after executing the instructions. That is the one constraint of that IoT device is low memory. These IoT objects are equipped with low memory. Next, coming to low computational power. Generally, processing unit consists of microprocessor or microcontroller and the memory unit is also there. Low computational power means perform the operations on the data. That is very, very low. Objects have very low computing power, which can process a small piece of data. Another design constraint is low computational power. Low computational power. Definition is objects are IoT devices. Objects have very low computing power, which can process a small piece of data. Which can process a small piece of data. That is this is another design IoT design constraints. Next one, low bitrate. Low bitrate and less number of IoT devices communicate with each other and generates the data. That is called as a low bitrate. In case of data generation is varied. That means more number of devices are involved, more data is generated. That is also challenging task. Depending on the basic application, amount of data generated is varied. Is varied. Basic application. In some cases, few IoT devices are required to perform their operations. Less amount of data is generated. Due to scale of economics, massive data is generated. Scale of more number of devices are attached to that IoT infrastructure or network. Therefore, more massive data is generated. This is the one of the important challenges in resource constraint in IoT. Suppose if more number of devices are added, that is called faced some problems. We have to see the existing infrastructure facilities, available infrastructure facilities, compatible operations, interoperability operations. We will see all these things. That is the reason IoT supports to one of the design constraint is a low bitrate and low throughput. Throughput means the number of information bits or frames are transmitted per second is called as throughput. That is very, very low in IoT applications. Depending on the basic application, amount of data generated is varied, and due to the scale of economics, massive data is generated. This is the one of the important challenges in resource constraints. Resource constraint in IoT. Coming to next one, low lifetime. That is also very, very important. Low lifetime. Most of the IoT devices are things are battery operated to perform services to provide services to the users. These devices are most of the times are in on conditions. Therefore, batteries discharges. There is no way to charge the batteries. Therefore, lifetime of that device is degraded. Because low battery are equipped with that IoT devices. Low power batteries are equipped with IoT devices. Due to consistent and varying service provisions to the users, power supply is another important issue. Due to consistent and varying service provisions, to the users, Power supply is another important issue. Power supply is another important issue. Coming to this is also low lifetime. More device processing. More device processing. This is also one of the constraints in IoT issue. One of the IoT design issue, more device processing. Suppose so many operations are involved. If one IoT device is there, that IoT device senses the environmental condition, generates the physical data, analog data. Analog data is converted into digital data. The digital data is sent to controller, processing unit, performs some operations on the data. The data is converted into frame format with the help of communication module. The data is sent to pre-space to the another node. In another case, sometimes it receives the data from the another node through that single antenna. All must be subcomponent of that IoT device must be powered. Power is also crucial point here. Power consumption is also crucial points. That is more. All operations are totally depends on power basis only. If power consumption is more, suddenly the battery recharges. There is no way to charge that battery. It does not perform any task. That is one of the IoT device constraint or design issues. That is called as more device processing. More bandwidth. IoT comprises of small scale, that means smart home or large scale applications, factory or mall area, offering basic services to the users and other. Suppose from small scales to large scale IoT applications. For small scale means we need few devices are involved. For large scale services, more number of devices are involved for offering services to the users. Okay. Scalability is an important issue to uniquely identify individual devices and results into more bandwidth requirement. Suppose for more devices are involved, more communication bandwidth will require to send the information from one point to another point. This is also one of the IoT design issues. More bandwidth will require. Coming to last one, low transmission power. Low transmission power. IoT device to run on batteries, low power batteries or solar cells. And these power sources are weak. The power consumption must often be as low as to simple discharge of the battery. And the power sources are weak. The power consumption must often be as low as than the simple discharge of the battery. The battery is discharges. Suddenly, at a particular point, there is no energy to provide performing tasks to that device. Suddenly, dead mode. The batteries, the device is converted into dead mode. That is the reason have to choose low transmission power. Low transmission. That is also IoT. Low transmission power means covers less distance. That is also one of the IoT device design issues. These are the some IoT design issues. More device processing means most of the IoT devices are involved in more processing. That means sensing, computing, communicating, and all these operations will require some power. Without that power, we can't perform any operation. That is the more device processing, more bandwidth due to scalability. Scalability means for home users, few IoT devices are involved. For factory or shopping malls, more IoT devices are involved. More IoT device means that is called as scalability. These devices generates massive data. That is the reason more bandwidth will require to send that information. This is also one of the IoT design issue. Low memory. Most of the IoT devices are sensor nodes and RFID tags. These are equipped with low memory. That is fewer data is used to store. That is also one of the design issue, IoT design issue. Low bitrate, low throughput. IoT devices are not supported to massive data generation. It is used to support generates very low data rate. That means low bitrate. And also, and vice versa means low throughput. The amount of frames transmitted per second is called as a low throughput. That is also low. Low computational power. Here microprocessor and microcontrollers are used to perform the tasks on the data. That is also low. Next one, low lifetime. Most of the IoT devices are battery operated. Low power battery are used to power the subcomponents of that node. Most of the time, the device is in off condition. Otherwise, the energy is wasted. Finally, the node lifetime degrades. All these are the IoT device issues, IoT design issues.